Welcome back here once again to StarLadder iLeague Star Series Season 2. We've made a little bit of a swap here on the couch. I wanted to get my buddy Blaze here on the couch just for a couple minutes. We're going to bring back Dakota for casting of the second game. So you KotLGuy fans out there, we got plenty of mana. Don't worry. But I wanted to bring my buddy Blaze in here to talk about DC because I know you did a little bit of coaching during the TI6 NA qualifiers, and you did some fairly extensive scouting of this Digital Chaos team. And we were talking on the couch before about what do you think DC's chances are? What do you think their strengths and weaknesses are as a team? What do you think their chances are going into TI?
Going into TI is going to be rough. I think that a big part of this will depend on actually how well they do here, mostly because the one thing that the team is lacking for the most part is actually confidence. If they can bolster their ranks in terms of being confident in their drafts, knowing that they can execute well enough with certain heroes, then I feel like they actually have a pretty good shot of taking the top 8. I'm not going to give them much more than that because obviously there's a lot of talent going into it, but they look really strong in general in the context of the American qualifier for TI6, but going on an international scale, that's where I would say DC kind of hit their rocky roads. They have a lot of strength in the small pool of NA, but branching out beyond that is where they really have to be on their A game.
What do you feel like when you're prepping a team to face DC? What do you feel like their big strengths are, the things that you have to address?
100% their core players. Looking at Weeha, Moo, as well as Resolution, all of them bring something different to the table. And really, the job of Misery and Soxa is just to accelerate the core's income. If they're able to pick slightly greedy, but still take objectives early on, then they're able to get their items online so quickly that they're able to snowball the draft and able to really execute well in the mid game. So I feel like if you're going to be able to deal with DC, you're banning and you're suppressing the enemy cores.
All right, so as you can see here on the screen, we do have a draft. We had a slight problem with one of the PCs upstairs. That is now fixed. We got all 10 players into the game. We got no surprise, the Faceless Void taken out by Digital Chaos. That's just a hero that creates a lot of problems. I really do like the decision, though, to take out the Elder Titan by Friends. That's been a hero that DC's played with a lot of success.
Mm-hmm. But there's going to be still the Riki for them. I think they, apart from Riki, they play Bat Rider pretty well. Those are the two heroes, I think.
First overall pick, Drow Ranger, Wings Dota, boys.
I mean, it's like we were talking about in the first series, right? If you're good with it and you don't make any mistakes, it still can be strong, even if you pick it as a first hero.
You know, it feels like this team is just going to YOLO it because...
Yeah, I mean, geez, he literally said in the interview, if these teams are prepared for TI, then we're probably not going to win.
Yeah.
But if they're not prepared for TI, then they're going to have some issues. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you come in, you're a man down, but, you know, they said they already prepared for the tournament. I'm still expecting Friends to bring some pretty solid Dota, and that this will be a real test, I think, for Digital Chaos.
Yeah, this has been what we talked about in the previous series. Teams using the Wyvern against the Aura strats.
Yeah. But it's also a comfort zone pick for Soxa. He's played that hero since God knows when. When he was playing on Bambo's team, can't remember the name of it. He was playing that hero constantly.
And you talked to about a guy that's gotten to 8K, maybe even I think it might be 9K now, playing support. I mean, this is one of the heroes that I imagine got him there because he plays this hero very, very well. I'm curious. Do you guys think that that Friends might borrow that Drow Wisp classic open, or is that already off the table with the Winter Wyvern counter?
I mean, the Wisp has obviously a lot of potential. You can enable cores so quickly, and you can be very active on the map. The cool thing about just cycling your relocates, going cooldown to cooldown with that, jumping across, getting a kill, is then you immediately turn that into an objective because of the push pressure of the Drow Ranger. So I think it's strong, but I think it has its weaknesses, and Winter Wyvern's definitely one of them.
I actually might like the Oracle with the Drow more. You see teams recently have been starting to pick Drow and Oracle.
First phase Oracle, though.
You want to have a defensive support with Drow.
I like the Dazzle, though, so much more.
Yeah, but because of the lanes. Whoa! Oh, okay. Going back to that a bit, because I felt like teams have been maybe trying to use the precision aura a bit more because of the attack animation of Oracle, which is very, very good. So you have that damage against the off lane. It's pretty good for the laning phase.
Still, though, I really like this as a strat against a Drow. You want to do exactly what we saw in the previous series out of Navi. You want to be diving her under her tower at 2 minutes into the game, and that's what the Ogre allows you to do in that bottom lane is Dire.
And this is one thing that Digital Chaos have been able to do maybe better than any other team is adjust their drafts and emulate their opposition. The fact is, Shadow Demon is a hero that they've played very little in the last 6 months, but I expect them to be picking it up more and more over the next 2. And this Ogre Magi is actually something that they haven't run, but they're going to be able to most likely at least limit the Drow Rangers early game because they're going to be getting Mu on an aggressive and high impact offlaner, and then they're going to have the Ogre Magi coupled with it. So when you have the Winter Wyvern to really just team fight in the mid to late game, then you have the Ogre Magi to just fight it out in the early stage. I feel like you're going to be able to win 2 of your lanes and then be able to hold your towers pretty quickly.
I kind of like the Shadow Demon pickup here in
of
terms of locking down that more defensively oriented lane. You know you're going to be facing a lot of pressure coming out from the Ogre.
I think this is actually, of the supports I could have picked, I think this is actually the worst defensive option, but it's the
Really?
best. It's the best aggressive option in the sense that you can use the disruption illusions to actually push. I think this is the most push-oriented support that still offers a save.
You
Okay,
think
alright,
they're still going to go for something like Luna or TB to use with the disruption?
I mean, I suppose it's an option, but I think it's too early to say.
It's not only as early to say, it's just a little bit odd because I always like to see G on that playmaking hero. Like, I don't want to end up in a situation where we're like G on Drow Ranger.
Yeah, I would actually more like to see like a Wind Ranger pickup for G.
Yeah,
It's something
exactly.
that he can kind of have the best of both worlds. He can benefit from the precision aura as well as be able to fight it out in the mid games, in the trenches.
You need to be careful with Wind Ranger though, because when you have a hero like Wyvern on the other team, if you have too many single target focused heroes, Winter Wyvern becomes way too good, and that like throw a silencer or shackle onto somebody, they get cold embrace, and it's like okay, well, hero's just not going to die. So it can be a bit tricky. I still think it's an alright option though.
How about a tank like Dragon Knight? Like a tank
I like
hero?
DK more than.
Man.
Yep, Darkseer is a pretty good ban because Darkseer would fit with the Ogre in the laning phase, and you have the vacuum into Curse combo.
Yeah, you can tell that they're very worried about that aggro dual lane situation that we talked about, but already turning around for the Weeha Invoker, and that's just it's vintage DC right now.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to express it because I mean you have the ability for the Ogre to rotate lanes, and that's one thing that DC are really good about is prepping their kills. They kind of set up rotations, they make smoke movements, they know what kill they want to find easily 30-45 seconds before they make the move for it. So making the move with the Ogre, Ignite Cold Snap is a classic. I expect Weeha to go Exhort here just because like 5 out of 6 of his games he's going to be going Exhort over Wex. And I do think that that's going to give them the damage they need to start bursting targets. I mean, Ogre hits 2 spells on the Drow. That's almost guaranteed Sunstrike unless you defensively disrupt. So it's going to be on the SD to really babysit this Drow and play very close to her.
What's your second support? Are you guys thinking more like Avenge for the double save, or are you thinking you need a harder forward?
The second support will really depend on how they want to play the game, though. If they want to play it more aggressive, or they just want to sit in the lane and farm, so that they make sure Drow gets to a timing without, dying in the early game, which is very important when you're running a Drow strat. And it really depends on what's the offlane as well. Like, they are not sure of what the DC will do on the offlane and how much pressure they're going to put onto the Drow Ranger.
Still feels like a pretty good puck game.
For friends, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's alright.
Okay.
So
that's kind of the same thing I was thinking with Avenge. You get the double save situation.
I think it's actually something too where with the heroes that they have right now, like Friends lanes are relatively static. The Shadow Demon is the one who's going to move around, and sure, we haven't seen a core yet, but if you disrupt into a heal bomb, it can still be a potential kill. So maybe there's a small possibility that this Drow Ranger could still not be safe lane. That's what I'm looking at right now. If I'm DC, I'm thinking,
You mean a mid Drow and
something that can kill with the Shadow Demon Dazzle, maybe.
It's going to be very hard for the offlane now, because SD, Dazzle, plus the
It
Drow.
crushes, yeah.
And it doesn't. Dazzle is a strong enough support to lock down the safe lane that I think what you said about the Shadow Demon being able to move around. If you pick a less solid defensive support, you end up getting forced to have 3 heroes down in that bottom lane, and the Shadow Demon doesn't get to move around.
Yeah, and then the offlaner maybe just gets like Iron Talon early, just jungle if they know that.
Yeah, but they can make the adjustment, right?
Man.
Like based on the picks. Like now, since it's Timber, I think there's some validity to having a third person down there if you can kill him.
By the way,
is
this
it
is
offlane Timber?
Yeah, this is no, we don't know yet. That's the other thing I was just going to bring up.
I hate offlane Timber.
You don't like mind control on his offlane Timbersaw?
I think Timber needs farm. Like, I prefer Timber on mid or safe lane.
But they get him. They get him farm.
Yeah, unless you can somehow make sure the offlane Timber
Right.
gets something out the lane.
Now, the nice thing about this is, remember that Resolution, before he became a dedicated carry player with DC, he was a mid player, and he was one of the best invokers out there for a period of time. This you have the option with this to run the invoker in the safe lane as well.
Mid Timber.
Mid Timber, yeah. I'm not saying that's what they'll do, but you at least have that option open going into your last couple
Well,
of picks.
we do know that we and Resolution both play Invoker, so.
Yeah, definitely some potential for versatility there. I don't think that Friends are going to be moving the Drow away after this. I feel like you're still going to be able to get enough out of things like an early point in Gust, perhaps, that you're going to be able to still do really well in that try-v-try. I mean, the Ogre maybe has a lot of base armor, but if you're not hitting the Timbersaw too many times before you go for the Disrupt Shadow Wave combo, Timbersaw's base armor is actually really low. And if the reactive doesn't come into play, then he could be actually a pretty convenient kill.
I'm still curious about what carry they're going to go for. Since they picked the Sand King, maybe they're thinking about possible, the 1v1 matchup we saw.
Yeah.
Before, like the Sand King
well,
Timbersaw.
it's two things, right? So the Sand King is a pretty good offlane, pretty good dual offlaner. If you look at pairing him potentially with somebody with aggressive potential like a Shadow Demon, and he also, if they do choose to put the Timbersaw solo mid,
You think about the damage they do. Disrupt, and then he stuns. Everyone is around the target, and you just heal bomb.
Right.
So there's a lot of kill potential there.
Yeah, I think of that more as a rotation than an actual set lane, though. I think you could easily run the Sand King in the off lane here, and then maybe 3 or 4 minutes into the game, rotate the Dazzle up, and even at the SD if you really consider it necessary. I don't think you want to put the Drow in a really high combat situation. You more want to scare DC and.
But the best way to do that, the best way to avoid putting that Drow in that high combat situation where she's getting dived, is to force them to address the offlane, to send the Shadow Demon and the Sand King up there and really try and get aggressive.
I can see a way you could mix and match it, definitely, but I just feel like early levels, Timbersaw isn't going to be that high impact anyways, and that's where you really want to hit them hard. So I would start with a defensive try, then make that rotation. So Timbersaw starts with a level deficit, and then from there they have to start addressing the duo trio threat in their offlane.
Yeah, this also comes to, we mentioned both Resolution and Wii, but this also comes a point where we got to talk about Mu being an extremely, extremely versatile player. He could play offlane Timbersaw as well.
So last pick, I'm still thinking the Wind Ranger could be pretty solid here. There is, however, a lot of burst damage, one multicast, and you got to be a little bit worried. So they actually go for the Luna instead.
Yeah, because like I said, when you go for the SD Dazzle, you're gonna want a big core that actually can.
Yeah, you have to kill with it.
You want to have a hero like Luna so you can use the disruption to siege. That's basically most of the teams what they are doing right now when they pick SD. They want to use the disruption on a core like Luna.
But don't you guarantee now that the Drow is going to be mid? And yeah, she's got a couple defensive options, but she's going to get roamed on hard, I think.
Yeah, but then again, if they're actually doing like a aggro tri-lane or something because their lanes are very, very strong, SD, Dazzle, and Luna. And then Sand King, if Sand King gets a 1v... Yeah, if Sand King gets a 1v1 matchup against a melee hero, so Sand King can win his lane, and they can win the other lanes with the aggro tri.
Absolutely. I think the caustic's going to be a key factor here for the laning phase, and we do get to see Aloha dance and what he's actually going to be bringing to the table in this carry role. Obviously, we got to see that a couple months back, but more recently, I checked out his pub status, and while Luna's his 5th most played core, the Luna is his 8th or 9th. So it's kind of digging a little bit further into the basket here, but I feel like this actually gives them a huge amount of potential if they can just get out of the laning stage.
Right. Really quick here, final thoughts on the draft. I like DC's lineup a lot. Blaze, what do you think?
I think that the lanes, if they're well executed by friends, will give them a huge advantage, and I actually think they're going to be able to carry this one through.
Yep, same.
All right, Winter?
Same.
Friends. Same, friends, all the way.
Yeah, you guys like friends.
Sorry,
I'm gonna take DC, guys. I gotta say, I think they got a really good draft. They're super comfortable with playing. All right. That said, I think we're gonna bring back Dakota here for who did play-by-play so well during that first series. We had to have him back again, so we're gonna throw it over to our casters here at the other end of the couch. Take it away, KotLGuy and WinteR.
Hi, WinteR.
Hello.
So I missed all of the draft.
Because you were lazy.
No, I watched it from the other room.
No, you didn't.
I watched some of it.
No, you didn't.
I watched all of it. Yes, I did. I watched all of it. We got our draw lineup for friends, but I was actually curious for this part because I don't know who's going to play what. Because obviously it's a new friends team. We saw FNG who went off lane and back, and now he's not even on the team. So who's going to take his spot and jump in? Or do you think it should be pretty clear cut I saw that they're going to keep a Aloha Dance on the carry.
Yoku should be the Sand King off lane.
Yeah,
I think.
which he pioneered. Did you guys mention that on your fancy panel? I mean, he was like one of the pioneers of the off-lane Sand King when he was on Empire, a la Star Ladder seasonal. Like, I think it was
thanks
season
Dakota.
10.
Thanks Dakota.
So this is
so
not,
smart.
not an unfamiliar thing for the mighty Yoku here. But
Well, for DC, I think this, sorry, not DC, for Friends this game, I'm curious to see whether they actually go pressure. Because Slug is very bad in the low, when he's low levels, like he doesn't do anything. And if you put him against a dual lane or tri lane, he struggles a lot. And Sand King gets a very good 1v1 matchup against Timbersaw. So we'll see how they actually lane their heroes. It will decide a lot of the early game. Like the panel mentioned before, if Friends actually get a really, really good early game, they can easily just snowball and control the game.
who did you guys all vote for, or who did you guys think was going to be taking based on draft?
Alan thinks DC is going to win, obviously, because he's the NA fan gay, and we are, three of us think Friends are going to win.
I would actually lean towards DC. I'm still strong on the fact that it's Friends, and they're
NA fan gay.
I'm not NA fan, but I think DC have been grinding more competitive games recently than Friends, because this is Friends. I mean, debut as Friends.
In their defense, they are going to disband, and you know.
In their defense, friendship powers overall, right? That's what you wanted to say.
Sure.
Let's
sure,
see,
Dakota.
though. It's going to be a good time, though, and you're right, because Friends do have a clock to play with here, and if they want to ramp up and punish this Slark down and then be able to segue that into momentum for the draw, that'd be nice.
So looking at the heroes right now, so it seems like they're going to potentially do an aggro tri-lane, but it's not with the Luna, so Luna's going to 1v1 bottom. They're expecting Timber to go bottom. Huh. I was expecting the Sand King to go 1v1 against Timber, and Luna would be with the tri-lane because you have the aura.
Yeah, but with this lane now, you can like Sand King burrow into
yeah,
wave.
Yeah, I know, but I think that Timber struggles against Sand King more than Luna.
Oh, obviously. We saw that in the last series, yeah. I see you on that.
I mean, I guess with the draw aura, the precision aura, Luna should still do pretty well in that lane.
Yeah, she should be able to hold her own.
Yeah,
but
DC is also switching out their lanes. They're expecting the aggressive tri-lane, because when you pick Slug, you're always worried that Slug gets into a terrible laning situation where you can't farm.
So it looks like they're
both swapping lanes. Both teams are swapping lanes.
Constant audible calls here as they switch things up here.
So Sand King Timber, okay, this is the lane that we want to see.
Yeah, great for Friends here. Moo will try his best to assert some early dominance, but once the Caustic Finale starts kicking in, that's when things get a bit tough for the Timber.
Yeah, basically as a Timber versus a Sand King matchup, you want to play away from your creep wave so he doesn't abuse the Caustic against you. So he's doing the right thing, but they're going to continually move the lanes as Timber is going to struggle against Sand King eventually, and they're going to leave the Slark top now.
At this point, it's even worth Friends trying to do another double rotation, but mid lane, they're already running into some trouble. It's Misery here, the Ogre. Oh, they got a Sunstrike! And they need a little bit more, and they'll get it. First Blood already going to be going to DC.
Like with them roaming around, Misery did the right thing. He tried to pressure the mid lane, which because both sides are moving top bottom, so Drow Ranger, like we suspected, might be in danger of getting ganked early by the Ogre, so it happened. First Blood. Very good play by Misery, understanding the situation and abusing that no one could actually help the Drow.
And now the Drow's going to be taking down a bit of a peg here, and they'll have to continue back to their rotations, and we'll just see if
are they
Friends
moving
will take
again?
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure if Friends are just going to have to take it as it is, or if they're going to be pressured into a spot. Looks like Always Wanna Fly is now up here, so they at least have a little bit of love for the Sand King.
So basically, it's a traditional tri-lane at top for the Slark. And we'll see whether Friends actually want to contest the Slark by sending the other hero top, or they're just going to be happy with Sand King plus Dazzle top. And Shadow Demon will be doing his thing at bottom lane.
Yeah, I just can't help but feel like then DC just will get so much more out of the laning phase at that point, because Slark will be fine, which they're going to be good with, and Timber's going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shadow Demon would actually be much more useful to his team if he's at top lane pressuring the Slark.
But at some point, you got to stop moving around, just buckle down and actually do the farm in the lane, I guess. And you don't want to be trying to move one step ahead of your team when they can kind of dictate it.
I mean, at this point, Sand King is doing pretty much okay. If you look at his CS, he has 12.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the heroes, he's doing very, very well. So maybe at this point, they feel like Sand King is okay, so they don't really need to help him yet. Maybe in the near future, maybe the first night phase, they make a smoke rotation.
Always Wanna Fly, who's trying to pester this creep camp from the low ground here, gets on the bad end of Saska, who does fly up and over, and Misery, who hits him a few times and then leaves him with a nice little ignite there at the end.
Yeah, he has actually early bloodlust as well. He doesn't have a stun on the Ogre.
Do you like that? Everyone preaches about how they feel, because it's been reduced. Obviously went from 75 now to 50 mana. Do you think that emphasizes it should be much more of a value level, or should it always have been a value level for Ogre?
I mean, I even always have a value level on it before, so I think it's even much better right now. I think that it's always a very good spell to have, even at 1 level. Like some players even max it over Ignite, so it shows you. Yeah, some players, I think like EGM especially, he keeps Ignite at level 1 and he maxes his Bloodlust.
A little bit of harassment here. Disruption with some poison stacking up. We'll get him to 3, but it's Timbersaw after all, so he'll be able to easily walk away from the trouble.
Basically, he just needs like the range. Oh, he already has raindrops for this lane. As long as he has raindrops, it's going to be very difficult for them to kill him.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got 4 charges left to work with on those, and he'll get right back into his own grind. He's at 12 CS. King CS, though, is Luna, who is on the opposite side of that bottom lane right now, but that's the best thing going for Friends. Let's see how this mid matchup's going.
Wow.
Drow at 9 to the Invokers 14 and 10 denies.
I mean, he did get help from Misery earlier, so he's supposed to have a lead right now. And here we go, Misery coming in again.
Uh-oh. G does head down south, the appropriate direction to avoid the trouble of Misery there.
Yeah, but basically right now for Friends, they're just going to be very happy with static farming and getting levels on their supports, especially they need to get the Sand King Blink before they start to make moves, you know, or just when they get level 6 on Luna, then they start to group up and push towers. For DC right now, they are much stronger in the early maybe 5 to 6 minutes when Ogre can roam like this and pressure the other lanes. But for Friends, if they can actually survive this stage without losing too many heroes, and they get to, you know, their ultimates and the blinks on the Sand King, then the game starts for them at that point.
But what if he gets Aether Lens? You know, you get the Arcanes and you figure you could just split them apart.
No. Oh my god, okay.
Next thing you know, you're a Sand King with Aether Lens.
Now Mu is starting to take over this lane. He has 3 points in reactive armor, so jeez, this is gonna...
That almost feels like
this is gonna
overcompensating along with PMS.
He just want to make sure he doesn't die, or Resolution misses his pounds there.
Oh, but they got always one fly. It'll go down fast, and now they're going to look through the follow-up. Can they get Yoku? No Fear rotates in and will force the 3 of them to kind of step back. But DC do strike, and they get a quick takedown and pull themselves ahead 2-0. Yoku comes up a bit short on his Burrow Strike, trying to make a move for Misery. Now Misery thinks he can kind of get on the action, steps back in, goes to man mode. Yoku, no, almost gets hit and knocked down. Does manage to live. Nice Cold Embrace setup for the Sunstrike there. But yeah, as it goes down, it's going to be another takedown for DC.
Dude, Wyvern and Invoker are on the same team.
I know. I figured that out as I said it, WinteR. This is what happens when I have to get kicked out of the draft. I should just be here from the start.
Oh yes, Eclipse, but he has raindrops. Can he kill him?
Oh, yeah, he got it.
He got
it. He timed it out.
Oh
Waited.
my god, that was close. He was like thinking about it. He was like, if I don't kill him and he kills me, it'll be so bad. Then he decides, okay, I'm just gonna YOLO it. I'm just gonna use it.
Oh, valiant effort there with the Sunstrike, but not going to get the catch for Aloha Dance.
Yeah, this is the reason why I probably mentioned earlier that I prefer to have the Sand King against the Timber, because I think Timber struggles more against that. But nevertheless, right now Luna is still leading in terms of the overall net worth. Sand King is doing pretty well still, considering everything. Draw is the one suffering because he got ganked earlier. But Friends are slowly approaching their timing, where they get all their levels on their Sand King and Luna or Sunstrike.
It will hit. G's very low. There's a Dazzle. Does he even have Grave? Did not level up. He got stunned by Misery.
Oh,
what a beautiful stun. So he couldn't get off any sort of Grave.
Oh my
Turns
god.
it over and ends up getting the free kill on this one. I mean, Friends are going to be able to get a couple of kills
that was
their
bad,
way.
though. That was bad.
Yeah.
They were supposed to save the Drow there and, you know, get the return kill on the Ogre. But right now, like I mentioned, Luna has enough levels. As Eclipse is still on cooldown, but they feel like they're strong enough to try and pressure towers. So they're starting to use their lineup to 5-man and try to secure objectives.
G comes in, but he's going against the lone Timber here.
Mu does this a lot with his Timber.
Walks in.
4 points in reactive at level 7 and he just runs it.
The tower, the creeps are only benefiting his regen and armor that much more, so doesn't have a whole lot to fear until more
Look at that, he
rotations come.
forces everyone to come down and he gets out. And his team is like tapping him on the back. Thank you for the space.
I heard they don't like to touch him, so
They don't like to touch him? Why?
I don't know. Something about not showering, I guess. I'm kidding. I'm sure Moo's a very hygienic man. But nonetheless, he's certainly doing his job in the bottom lane, being that enforcer on the Timber side.
Yeah, if you can see like the way the game is panning out, Friends doesn't have any clear direction in the game. I see them diving the Invoker, so they got the kill, and Saksa might go down as well. They get vision for...
Yoku gets off the Burrow Strike. Nice disruption save from the tower. They'll de-aggro that, and he should be good to walk away with his life.
Oh.
And we have an even game, 4-4.
The
Unless
blocks,
Misery can
the body
change it about. He can't find a way to wiggle around here. And now he's just going to run.
Can they get him with another stun? Oh, it's too far away. So Misery gonna be lucky to survive there. They almost got the surround on him. And Windlace here.
Windlace and boot is fast enough
Thanks
for the Ogre to run
Travis
away.
for pointing out the Windlace. You know we had a discussion about Windlace.
What?
That you should always have that item.
Yeah? Why? Just because you like the move speed? Tell us on the Windlace.
You should always have Windlace if you have an empty slot and you have 200 gold. Oh, you are that guy that doesn't buy a Windlace when you have a slot. You're that.
I will buy it.
You're actually that guy who triggers me.
I will buy it. Most of the heroes I actually could use the Windlace for something else, so why not? Bottom lane. Misery still kind of poking at these supports a bit. He's been a real nuisance this game, but that's the job of the Ogre here. Kind of turning attention away from Friends, because the game plan for Friends should be really, you know, moving forward on the back of this Drow when she begins to peak a bit, but DC are making it a bit frustrating here. Disruption avoids the shockwave, I guess, to their benefit, but another one will follow up. Misery's eating a big chunk of damage here, but he is going to be able to waddle away. And we're waiting for the grind of these level 6s to come online for these supports, and that's when the fireworks really begin to burst.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Friends are just waiting for the timing to group up. The Blink and all their ultimates to be online. Right now, everything is online, but Sand King, I don't think he has his Blink yet, so... I mean, but they can still choose to group up right now. With their ultimates and push with the lineup.
Disruption and move steps out. It's a very elusive team on DC. They're either really fat or really elusive, so it's not an easy team to kind of get a solo disruption grab on.
Their heroes are much better at splitting up, and because they have a lot of wave clear with Timber. Slug pushes out wave very quickly as well.
Splinter shot on Wyvern also wonderful doing such a thing.
They're doing the right thing by understanding that when Friends group up, they don't have to fight them. They just need to buy time, use their spells to clear the quick wave, and just let the other lanes, the heroes on the other lanes farm. So basically what DC is doing is maximizing what they're getting out of the map. And Sand King is just trying to get to that point where they have to blink, so when this happens, you can blink behind, kill the hero that's spamming, and proceed to take the objective.
Look like you had a casual bracer right now
On
the
Sand King.
Yeah. They'll be able to burst down this
Finally,
tier 1 tower.
But look at how how much time it took for them to actually take that tier 1 at
Yeah.
bottom. Like DC did the right moves. They are eventually gonna lose the tower, but they made Friends work really hard for that tower. Like this is something that sometimes teams don't really prioritize in doing a lot. Mid lane, they get a disruption onto the Ogre.
Yeah. And they'll split directions here, and Friends will have to decide on what they want to commit for, and it looks like it will be for the Ogre. They'll get that kill, but it's just an Ogre kill after all.
Well, Ogre is not, it's like when you go past 10 minutes, Ogre is not that strong hero anymore, where you can run around bullying people.
When does he get strong again? When he gets an axe?
If you actually get an axe.
Aether Lens, some of them get it. That can make them pretty good now too. Long range ignite will cancel blinks.
The dream would be Aether Lens, Axe, Octarine Core.
Oh goodness. Well, if Friends have anything to say, the game will not go that long. But we'll have to see. Echo Saber now complete. Slark, was not put in his place at the start of this laning phase, and now he's starting to reap in the benefits here, Winter, as he's getting together some pretty good mid-game fighting tools.
Oh,
Yoku
Bracer,
lives.
Bracer, still gonna die.
Still gonna die. He goes down over, gets the last little tick from the ignite. But
that was a super big kill, Dakota. He was like 1900, close to his blink. Oh
yeah.
dear.
This is going to be bad. This will shift the momentum a lot for Friends. DC will also be able to open up on a bottom tier 1 tower. Moo is here, stranded behind, and he will get bursted down just as fast.
This kill is not worth it though. They blew
Eclipse.
They got the kill on Timber, but they still lost the tower, and they blew Eclipse. I hear Sunstrike.
Yeah, they tried to go for No Fear there, but not gonna be
yeah, I think that was really good for DC though, even though they lost Timber. That was a good trade for them. Because Friends, they want to group up with the ultimates, and they want to hit the timing where they have ultimates plus blink on Sand King so they can actually.
But right
group
now
up.
it's like angry ultimates on that guy because he took our tower. Get him.
That's why I'm kind of a little surprised that Slug didn't go for Shadow Blade, because when you're playing against this style of lineup, you want to be able to get pick off. Because when you get a pick off, you slow down the opposing team's timings and you buy time for everyone else to farm. So I think Shadow Blade on Slug this game is really good for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, but now we can, double jab.
Farm faster, yeah.
Farm faster, hit harder, build up those charges faster.
And
That's the dream.
usually you get Echo Saber after the Shadow Blade, so it's rather interesting that he chooses to go for Echo Saber first.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be
He's
too
gonna
much.
farm the Shadow Blade
I mean,
faster.
it's not gonna be too big of a. Oh, he's dead.
See you later, Slark. So much for getting that Shadow Blade faster.
Okay, Blink. Finally on.
And Blink is not done for Sand King. Okay, this
Okay,
is
this is their game,
this is when friends need to get done.
but
get
they are
work
gonna
done.
have to wait
Put
for
in work.
Eclipse to come back on come off cooldown.
Do you really have to surround your fight around the Eclipse though?
Yeah, it's a big source of your damage, but I guess right now they are. Yeah, I mean they are much stronger in team fights. I mean, to be safe, you want to wait for all your cooldowns.
Let's see. It looks like friends are a bit anxious here in the top lane.
They're gonna just go.
Just take what they can get in front of them here. And
Where's the Sand King? Sand King is still far away.
where is he? He's coming. He's it's the backdoor play. They got a smoke. They're gonna look to creep in from behind and take down whatever digital
Okay.
cholos are hating behind this tower.
This is what is going to happen when they get the blink. I don't think they.
Hiya! They're leading with the Purge. Then there's the Burrow. Cold Embrace from the outskirts keeps them alive. This is a lot of sweaty work to just get down an Ogre. They'll finally do it. They don't suspect a thing. Nice catch! That's going to get an insta-kill right there, unless there's a grave. Oh!
Oh, jeez.
That move can be an instant hero delete, especially on a support, but this time, No Fear will be thankful for the
that was
dazzle.
still. I think that was still pretty good for DC at the end of the day.
Well, you're just
Yeah.
really NA biased right now.
Because you're not helping NA when you should.
I'm trying to be optimistic
I mean,
here.
they got the tower and 2 support kills, and Slug's farming mid lane and bottom lane Timber was farming. They're still getting something out of the trades, because we know that Friends is hitting their timing right now. They have the blink on Sand King, they have all their ultimates out.
Yeah.
So it's hard for DC to fight right now. They're doing the right thing by sending the Wyvern there to use Splinter Blast to defend the towers. Unfortunately, he tried to get a kill with Curse, so he didn't TP away, so he died. I mean, but overall, DC are doing the right things considering the situation they're in.
We'll have to see if that situation is going to get any
Aether Lens.
easier or
He's getting
worse
Aether
for them.
Lens. You must be
getting
happy.
Aether Lens.
You must be happy now.
He's already got, yeah, of course I'm happy. I mean, he's a bit nerfed in his stun. It's a very valuable stun for this game, so extra damage output, more range to work with there. Ignite, like, flies into a different game. It goes so far now. It's awesome. And that's good, you know. You happen to see a brief glimpse of a Sand King. You just hit him with Ignite, he'll never blink again.
Can I ask you a question? Have
Yeah.
you ever gotten Aether Lens on KotL?
No, that sounds like the dumbest thing ever. Mana leak from
How is
further
that
away.
dumb?
I mean, you can, yeah. I don't even know if Illuminate is enhanced from it. I don't. It might be, but no value there. Not sure about that,
I
sir.
thought you knew everything about KotL.
Well,
You
I
don't
haven't-
live up to your name.
I haven't tried it. I'll admit I have not tried it just because it sounds so wonky to begin with.
And how can you call yourself KotLGuy if you haven't tried everything with KotL?
Well, have you done everything you can in winter? Have you snowboarded? Have you skied? Don't do this to me. Bottom lane, they're making it go for Misery. He's been like the gank tank here for DC. Each time I was going to say it takes a little bit more effort, but this time they kind of shred right through him. And he just kind of provides the extra intel for DC to see what friends are up to.
Friends are going to try and group up once more, and DC are going to try their best to split push, delay. They're going for... They went for Helm after Dragonlance on Luna, so...
Helm of the Dragonlance. I just want to make sure I got that clear.
Helm.
That is right. I mean, she did get a helm and a Dragonlance, so... Alright, she's got her foundation built up.
Yeah. Like, generally, after you get an early game item on Luna, you want to get an item that would help you focus on your late game, get more farm. So, that's the typical build for Luna nowadays. You stack Ancients and you transition into late game. So, Friends are the team that's wanting to look for a fight right now with the smoke. And let's see if DC is ready for it. Are they
I
going
don't
to lose
think
a
they
lot
are.
of heroes? Yeah.
Oh, they might be able to get a prize. Weehaw right in the back. The burrow is going to be for Sasuke. And Weehaw just says, "Hi guys, see you later. I'm out of here," and runs out the other door and leaves his team behind. There is going to be a Luna Eclipse, but it doesn't seem to be too effective. They can't get anyone from DC. They completely Delta split, and now DC can look for the re-engage. They are going to finally get the grab on Mercy. It's all Aloha Dance for that one, but the rest of friends do swarm in, while back and behind they are going to get the Swift pick, taking down the Shadow Demon. G also in trouble. Pincered by Weehaw will be going down. Moo, a man left behind, tanking up the rest of the friends' gank here, and now gets the Cold Embrace. They burrow onto him, and an Epi also going to be committed. Is it going to be worth it here? On the other side, Aloha Dance is the prize possession, and he's going to be the one to go down from Resolution and company. This looks like an unfortunate fight for friends as they hastily try to retreat. Yoku will be able to make it to the high ground, burrowing out, but Resolution misses his pounce, so it's okay.
Oh, I wonder what happened there. I thought they were actually going to go for the Invoker there, and then maybe the Shadow Demon would disrupt the Wyvern to prevent the Embrace.
I don't know if they didn't see the Invoker, or
Yeah,
he was hoping to
they
catch
saw
them
him.
both. Maybe they're trying to catch them both with one
I'm
shot.
pretty sure they saw him in the lane, but
He got out of there so fast.
yeah, maybe they were actually greedy. They tried to get, like what you said, 2-man stun, and they actually didn't get the Invoker because he was like so far towards the other side. But I thought Invoker was like the prize and important kill there. If you take him out, they lose so much of the damage there. The fight would have been easy.
DC were so good about doing that
Yeah,
like
and they
cockroach
lost-
split though.
They lost the courier that had Yasha for the Luna. I mean, this should be friends like timing, you know. They should be stronger right now.
Yeah, that should have been a huge team fight with a tier 1 and possibly a
Yeah.
tier 2 in the mid lane taken down. That's how it should have gone
I mean,
with the lineup they have.
after the first series today, there's a lot of should-haves that should have happened but didn't.
And then they just don't. Something happens and the game gets flipped around entirely. But
See, this guy knows what's up. Look at his items. He has a drum and windlace.
he's got a lot of items. He's farmed. 9.2k, him and
I'm
Resolution both at the top.
commending him. I'm commending him.
Yeah?
I'm not commending you because you don't have a windlace.
You're the one suggesting Aether Lens on KotL, so let's just remember that.
It's not that bad. Okay, maybe it is that bad.
Friends, though, have options to hopefully build up the economy a bit to get back into this one. As we saw, they have a mighty girthy stack waiting for a potential Luna to take down here, but it looks like DC are actually already on the move. There's the item of the hour, the Aether Lens, now picked up in possession of Misery. Helps his engagement here.
They're looking to fight though, but
Who wants that rune? You want it, Dazzle? Get the hell out of here. What are you thinking about? Don't even look at the rune. They take him down, and they're going to get the potential follow-up as they WinteR's Curse. No fear. Desperately puts himself into a ball of shame. Sand King shows up. Luna ulti. Epicenter not going to be able to make it. It gets canceled out. We're not blinked entirely. Whatever happens, it's not working for friends here. Now with DC re-engaged, it looks like they are going to be able to isolate G. They take him out swiftly. It's Aloha Dance, it's Yoku, both of them the lone survivors, trying to run back and away. DC not going to let him get out. They catch up with Aloha Dance. They muscle him down.
Must have been the slug actually hitting him from the side.
Something hit him.
Man, that epicenter could have been huge if actually they got it off. If
If it was an Aether Lens Ignite, I'm going to laugh. Nonetheless, he could not
it
get in.
is definitely not an Aether Lens.
Unfortunately, though, that would have been a heavy counterplay right there. Luna ult, Sand King ult. It's all the wombo combo you could ask for if you're friends.
I'm afraid France has lost their timing right now. They have to like draw out the game and, you know, go super late with the disruption, with the Luna illusions on the Luna. Right now, it's DC's game. They're gonna control the map with their overall much better race clear with the Timber and the slot. And obviously the vision that they're gonna have as well after winning the team fights.
Well, this might be one step in that direction, WinteR. They've gone their smoke and they're moving for what looks like a beat line for the Roche.
Trying to fight with their lineup right now.
I think they want a Roche. They've scanned that area to see if maybe DC are around. They're going to see they're not, and they're going to be like, ooh, get the Roche, get the Roche, get the Roche. And they're going to go in for it.
Oh, the
This is
smoke broke.
ballsy play.
Are they still gonna do it?
Okay, they're in for it right now. Will DC know at all? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they actually know what's going on here. So it's going down rather quickly.
Yeah, and with Resolution stopping to do the creeps, I don't think they have an idea. The Force Spirits are coming. Ooh, the
Oh,
timing!
the curse. He's gonna
The
get a big
timing,
curse.
It's gonna
The
be
curse!
a huge freaking
Oh!
curse right on Yoku here. Roche wants to get in a piece of the action for some revenge. Resolution hops down from the rafters above, and they're going to look to clear out Friends here. Oh, it was a desperate attempt to go behind the back of Digital Chaos, but they go right to work. Jumping into the pit, Luna will be able to snag up the Aegis, but she loses it shortly after, which is just fantastic for Digital Chaos here. So now, Moo on the high ground, we on the low ground. He dishes out the chakram, we dishes out the right click. Aloha Dance will go down, and Friends will lose 4. Make it 5 if you do count that Aegis life. DC push their lead even further ahead. A BKB now going to be in the possession here.
Honestly, I don't even think they needed to do that though. I felt like if the game were to go like 40-50 minutes with their lineup, they're pretty decent shot at actually, you know, winning later with the SD creating Luna movements. I don't know, man.
Maybe a higher reward. If you could pull that off and walk away with an Aegis, I mean, you've definitely stalled things out for a
but
while.
it's gonna take so long right now. You know, Roshan has been gotten stronger, like all these patches. Like sometimes you think that you can do the Roshan, but you actually can't because you're just not used to Roshan being stronger. Sometimes, or you sometimes forget, and you. I mean, I think that you take risks like this if you are for certain going to lose the game, right? Like you are in a very big deficit. I don't think their deficit is actually that bad yet for them to actually make that risk.
DC thought about maybe hitting Friends where it hurts and grabbing that stacked camp a bit, but no, it's gone on a bit too long. With all Friends back, they could try to pounce. So DC will pull off. Still happy and confident with their significant advantage, where we still see both Resolution and we at the top of the network chart here, bringing in some sweet new loot. Levi obviously has his drums, Ags, now totally complete, and a good chunk of chain saved up from here. But you look at the other side and you see someone like Luna still holds that Yasha here, and Yoku, who's trying to divert some attention elsewhere. Can he make it away from Wii? Wii? Not even going to bother. They'll have to let that one go, and it will be enough space, so I guess the Luna can kind of grind her own farm. All right, solo WinteR's Curse. I guess was hoping to kind of get it close to the Luna, but not going to be happening.
Yeah, if you see the map right now, Friends are the ones trying to split push and try because they need to get a lot more farm on their cores right now, and that's going to be putting all these cores at risk at getting ganked by the Slug. Slug is trying to hunt them down with the Shadow Blade.
Yeah. Is Friends just going to continue to do this until they feel like a team as a whole has an advantage, or is it just to stall out for maybe like Drow's BKB
They have
a
to
bit?
stall out for a lot of items though.
It's a lot. So
Right.
I don't know if there's one item that like, we'll just get this one item and then try for another YOLO type play.
Basically what DC needs to do right now is get a gem and control the map so Friends cannot like farm outside of their base, and you need to go into the phase where you control and contain the enemy in the base, and you just limit all their farm.
Also limit any scary out from the dark options that they could surprise you with a gank here. Speaking of getting surprised by a gank, Resolution has spotted out Yoku here. Can he make it past the squirrely Sand King though? It's not going to be easy. With Sandstorm and no detection, it looks like that may be the end of it. Yoku says, aha, you know what? One last little poke for you, and we'll TP away. And it looks like DC are going to gather up and do some
they're the ones that
sacred blue activity here.
They're the ones that want to fight right now with the advantage they have, the Academics on Invoker. They're just looking to put further pressure. Do they have wards on their supports right now? They might want to place like wards around the Ancients area so they
Is that Aloha Dance? Yes, it is. Unfortunately, Sasuke... Oh, he does have a curse, but opts to hold it here instead of going for the lockdown play, and they change target. They see no fear. They'll go for him instead. Weehaw comes in now, but he's been getting hit hard from behind, it looked like, with the Drow. He's down to below half of his life. Good flank play from Friends. They isolate Moo. Can they get him down? Yes, they can. WinteR's Curse response. It's Aloha Dance between two targets, but not any hard-hitting targets, so he's going to be fine. Now comes in Wii, dishes out the Invoker combo. It's not going to be very effective. BKB will shrug off a lot of the damage. Now Resolution will clean up the support, but he's eating some right-click damage here from Aloha Dance. We'll shift away to the low ground. Meanwhile, Misery steps in. He goes down just for the effort here, but it's going to be a nice, promising turnaround here, potentially for Friends. Sasuke will be able to make it away, and so will Resolution. That was felt like pretty good positioning by Friends. They hit him from the high and the low ground, and maybe Weehaw wasn't expecting it when they thought they can make just the jump for the Luna and Shadow Demon.
Yeah, I mean, it could have gone really bad for DC if the Sand King was able to find a good epicenter there, but in the end, it was like a 2-for-1 trade. Ogre for Shadow Demon plus the Dazzle. So, I mean, overall, it's still a DC victory, but I think they expected to get more out of that fight.
And now we'll see the Drow complete her BKB. So we'll have to see if friends are going to...
Yeah, this is what I was expecting earlier, where I mentioned even though friends are behind, but they can afford to play a slow game, scale, just get more items on their heroes. Since all of their heroes do a lot of damage, you know, when the game goes longer, the
Yeah.
heroes scale so well. So I didn't really feel like they need to be so desperate to do their Roche play earlier. That was so risky.
Yeah,
So
it's a nice thing pairing the Drow with something like the Luna or the TBs.
Yeah,
you
they
have that insurance
they have
policy.
so much damage.
Yeah. They have a lot of good insurance policy for the damage and for the late game here.
He's gonna try again.
Uh-oh, they got a tornado this time. Yoku's going north. They should suspect this, though. They'll take him down. Not even gonna
Yes,
get a chance.
back up this time.
Yeah. So, you know, just friends doing valiant efforts
Yeah, but
to
you
kind
could
of split
see
the pressure.
what Yoku is trying to do for his team. He's
Yeah.
just trying to draw attention away from the Luna and the Drow,
Yeah.
since they are not as mobile as the Sand King. So Sand King takes the dangerous farm, and Luna and Drow takes the safer farm. I mean, he's gonna die, you know, when they catch him, but it's something that he needs to do to make space for the other two cores to farm.
Yeah. I mean, he's already so deep. I'm sure they expect him to... His only way
They
out.
have
probably
to
dying.
control the Ancients area, because right now Ancients is giving a big source of income towards friends. So DC needs to be able to control that in the near future.
Yeah, we'll have to see what DC's plan for that is.
Yeah, that's-
Misery pokes from down here, but the rest of DC are flirting around that ancient camp. They're pinging it out now, so
Yeah,
there's something on
that's
the
why I
docket.
mentioned the gem. I think they need the gem to control the vision, so they block out the Ancients. Imagine if friends don't get to farm the Ancients for the next 5 to 6 minutes. It's gonna hinder their progression on the Drow and the Luna so much.
Doesn't look like a gem yet, though, so Sasuke does it the old-fashioned way, just popping down some wards here. In the meantime. Friends, though, only kind of come together when they feel like DC could be making an advancement, but DC are not making it too transparent at the moment.
Yep, they are gonna be able to scout out the wards with the Slug there, ultimate being turned off. So right now for DC, they're just trying to make sure that friends don't get too much farm. They're trying to control the map and possibly wait for the next Roshan before they try and push towards the other towers and the high ground.
Yeah, because the weird thing with DC's lineup is, you know, they don't have, like, big cooldowns really to work around.
They're
Yeah,
just-
the winter
yeah.
ult, yeah, I guess, but, you know, they could just go when they feel ready, but I guess at this point it's just when,
Control and
you know,
contain, get pickoffs, you
Yeah.
know, get
they have to wait for
objectives.
all
That-
the
that's
elements.
that's
to
why I
line
think
up.
it's so important for them to get a gem with this side of lineup, because you're not going to be able to siege easily. You are moving around the map, and you need to be able to limit the vision the enemy has, so they don't see your heroes moving around, and it increases the possibility that, you know, what Yoku is doing right now, getting punished because he has no vision.
Yeah, you make a good point that the sieging potential is going to be very tricky, especially
It's
for
gonna
GT.
be a long... Whoa, Shadow Blade on draw. So, I mean, it gives you even more incentive to get the gem right now.
Yeah, because what is the motive with that besides like having another option to bail out if
Yeah.
times get tough?
I mean, even if Drow doesn't get the Shadow Blade, I still think it's really important for DC to get a gem. Like, sometimes you see teams that are new, they make mistakes like this. Like, you don't get the gem early enough to consolidate your advantage. Because when you're losing, you want a gem to remove the enemy's vision so you come back into the game. It's the same when you're winning the game. You have a lead, you want to consolidate, you want to build on the lead, so you get a gem, you remove their vision. So right now, they're just waiting for the next Roshan and just getting more items and more vision on the map.
Yeah, DC already up here before Yoku could even do his own split push game. It looks like he's flirting around the mid lane. As more tension Drows comes near to that Roche pit, and a Butterfly starts to come in order here. We'll have to see what...
We're in for a long ride, Dakota.
Yeah, that's always how it is.
It's gonna be a lot
As many
of...
Drows as we see, it's not really
I mean,
Drow
Drow
timing
is,
anymore.
you know, Drow used to be a hero where people think like, oh, this hero, if you pick this hero, you need to win at 30 minutes.
Yep.
But right now with like the changes, like when you have these Aghanims, you actually scale very well into the late game because you push waves very quickly with the Aghanims. So I think Drow in late game is actually something maybe teams underrate. it's actually not that weak anymore.
We also see a lot, though, it was more just all on the Drow, though. Like, it was all behind the Drow, and then, like, their mid laner would usually be, like, some sort of tempo controller or something, not another core.
That was the time when teams pick a lot of puck with Drow. Like, you want to
Yeah.
just push and siege early, so, I mean, I understand that.
But now it's like, yeah, we'll see more Terrorblades, we'll see more Lunas, and they have more of that backup kind of plan to go along with it or synergize with it. That makes it just flourish into the late game or allows that other second person to flourish in the late game.
Right now, it's going to be difficult for DC to push high ground anymore because like the game has drawn out so long that they can always use the disruption illusions to push out lanes, and Sanking is going to have his Aghanim's. It's going to be so difficult to try and push out the high ground.
And when this started, it felt like Friends missing the window when they couldn't get that Rosh
Yeah,
done.
but
is it DC now missing their window as a response to Friends not missing their
No, they're
window?
just not doing enough to consolidate their advantage. Like they need to just do more with especially the gem. And right now they're trying to find a fight after completing the butterfly on resolution. So we'll see.
Okay, Aloha Dance, the first one to be spotted. Resolution goes right into BKB. The response is going to be the Eclipse. Aloha Dance runs up to the high ground to catch any sort of backliners. Meanwhile, on the other side, WinteR's Curse targets no fear. Just Yoku Rex him down, but they are going to get the cleanup with Mu slicing his way on into the fight. Meanwhile, up and above, you can see Aloha Dance and Resolution manning up on each other. It's going to be Aloha Dance to go down. It's a fight for Digital Chaos. His friends already lose 3.
Yep, another fight again. Yoku couldn't find the opening. He got cursed. I mean, they cursed the SD and he was around it, so he couldn't do anything. So then again, another fight where when Sanking doesn't get his counter initiation off, friends have no way to win the fight.
That's why I really like the Wyvern even versus like a Sand King. I mean, he just simply goes into his flight and goes up, and if he spots, he doesn't even need to spot the Sand King, but if he spots someone near him,
I mean, but
the ult will just lock him there and there'll be no Eclipse, no follow-up or
I
anything.
think that's not supposed to happen though. Sankings, you have 4 stuff, you're supposed to be even further behind though, in my opinion.
He is really hard to take down though. They are chasing after Yoku, trying to see if they can get the finish. They will there, but the damage had pretty much been done at this point. Yoku is trying to hold out. He's getting closer to finishing out at least his Aghanim Scepter, but we'll have to wait that much longer now. And DC's opening really becomes that much bigger now, as they could move in and try to at least clear out the remaining tier 2s and maybe get their first siege on in this game.
Oh, they get a disruption.
They thought about moving in for it, but I guess once they saw Mu and Weehaw coming in, they opted to step off.
Invoker.
He's committed in. He wants No Fear. No Fear will get the grave, but he's not making it out from there, though. He'll take that one on the chin. He gets dropped, and now DC can move in as there's 2 on the sidelines at this point. An advantage in numbers. DC says, let's do it.
Yep, finally they're gonna get their opening. It seems like friends are not being too careful with their heroes moving around, getting caught, and giving DC the opportunity to siege the high ground like this.
Man, Resolution hits fast. He's got the Alacrity now, too. This tier 3 just does not have a chance to stand. Weehaw moves in. 2-man Tornado. That's 2 cores caught up. EMP flies forward. G has his own BKB. Aloha Dance has no mana to his name. And G just tries to dish out the right click as much as possible here, looking to burst through on Wee. Wee steps back. Resolution moves in. That will cost him his Aegis here, but it does cost the Grave already from the side of Friends. So no secondary life save coming up from them. Meanwhile, jumping from Yoku, big epicenter connects with 2, but not enough damage as a follow-up yet. Mu will be able to Timber Chain away, but they get a beautiful WinteR's Curse turnaround play, and now this could be the beginning of the end for DC as they quickly just dash right through 2 of Friends' members here. G trying to hide under his, well, Shadow Blade, gigs it out, gets the Shallow Grave, will be saved here. Misery engages, steps off. It's just not looking so good after all. Friends will lose 4 all day, and their racks on the bottom lane.
Yeah, friends are just like not as coordinated, like what G said in the interview. They're not expecting to like do very well since teams they are here in this event. They are getting ready for TI, and Friends don't look like a team that has a lot of practice. There are a lot of missed opportunities with the timings.
They should be the gatekeepers. They should be like, you are not ready for TI if you cannot beat us, Friends. You know? But we weren't expecting them to be, the new team on the block really that's kind of making waves. But for now in game number 1, it looks like it will be going the way of DC here. Cleaning out the second set of racks and moving on in now for the actual throne. Looks like it's going their way here, but it wasn't all bad for Friends. They led in they had a good mark, a good timing, and then DC kind of wavered a bit once Friends were not able to get that Roche. And it felt like maybe they were going to allow enough for Friends to kind of get back into this one, but in the end, ultimately, it's going to be DC.
Yeah, it was actually pretty sloppy from Friends, though. They missed so many opportunities, and they were making desperate moves when they didn't need to. They were like not calm enough. Like you could tell that this is a team that has no clear leader. Like if you have a clear leader, a person who understands the general situation of the game very well, and you know that you don't have to make all those risky moves because you can always you have a draw Luna late. You don't need to actually worry about we didn't actually gain enough objectives in the early game, and you don't have to be desperate because of that. You can always play a slower game, try to scale better into the late game, focus on farming.
We'll have to see as we get ready to approach game number 2 if Friends will be able to shake things off and shake things up a bit, or if Digital Chaos will be able to ease their way into a 2-0 series, making it into the next round. We cut to a break now. When we return, we'll be back at the panel to discuss Friends versus Digital Chaos.